back to Mommy's channel. So it's been a long time, and we've had a lot going on. So yeah, I think I'm taking a poop. Say, we're congested, all of us, and we've had a lot going on. But I'm getting ready to share all of that. So I'm about to lay on my boppy and watch Mommy and cuddle with Max. Yeah, hey brother. Say bye now. Say bye. You gonna smile for him? See how long she stays like that. Keep her passing in. I need some water. All right. Hey Mavs. Got little Prez over here. And we're rolling. Yes. A lot has gone on. Never in my life expected to give birth and get a cancer diagnosis. We're back. The chair's rocking. So, yeah. Never expected to give birth and get a cancer diagnosis all in the same 2 weeks. Who does expect that? Nobody. But we did, and we're rolling with it, and the Lord's got this, so that's all that matters. But let's talk about the backstory, because it wasn't like I just gave birth and they took my blood and were like, you have cancer. No, there's like a whole spiel to this. Let's get comfy. I'm gonna be here a minute. So, I got pregnant in July, or found out I was pregnant in July, on like, I think it was July 28th. So we're coming up on a year almost. That's crazy. And I had been working out, doing beach body workouts, because I was a beach body coach for like 4 or 5 years, whatever. And I had just finished up the new boxing program. I had done that twice, and my elbow started bothering me. This elbow, right elbow. And I thought I had like tendinitis, I had pulled something, and I was pregnant, so there wasn't a whole lot I could do. I thought, okay, maybe it's just like a pregnancy thing too, and I'm just having some flare-up. I sound terrible because I'm so stuffy, but that's just life. So, my elbow would hurt me, and I would try Tylenol, because you can't take ibuprofen when you're pregnant. I would put ice on it, I would like massage it. Really thought that I had just some really bad tendinitis. A couple people said, you know, maybe it's where you've started a desk job, and I'm right-handed, so like I use my mouse and my keyboard with my right hand. The further along into my pregnancy I got, the worse it got like really inflamed. I could not straighten it. Like, I can straighten it now, and I could not get it past like here. And Dawson would tell me like, relax, and I was like, I can't get it past here. You couldn't even see. Wow, it looks really good. You couldn't even see like the bone and stuff in it where it was so inflamed. I'll try to find a picture and put it here, or it'll be at the end. Like reaching for stuff hurt, grabbing stuff out of the car, like it just hurt so bad. There was even a time where like I was sitting down in the bathtub and I put my weight on it and I kind of like fell over. So, talked to my OB about it. She said maybe you have a pinched nerve like in your neck and it's just kind of running down there. There were nights like it hurt me so bad. I was Googling, you know, all the symptoms I was having, and everything said tendinitis, ulnar nerve entrapment, like, you know, something was sitting on that nerve. So never thought it was going to be anything bad at all. Wow, my hair looks greasy and I just washed it. About like between 25 and 28 weeks, I was in such severe pain. I was up all night, like a heating pad wouldn't work, Tylenol, nothing touched it. And it was like radiating up my arm and down to these 2 fingers and making them numb. So I really thought the baby was sitting on a nerve. And I would get in the shower. Like, I got in the shower, I bet 4 times that night. And I know Dawson, he never got any sleep when it hurt, because it was excruciating pain, like excruciating. But I would get in the shower and like the hot water hitting it, that was the only thing that would soothe it. And then our pharmacist recommended the little lidocaine patches. So I would like put those on my arm anywhere that it hurt. And it would take a little bit of the edge off, just enough for me to deal and cope and get through life. So yeah, nothing worked. At that time, my OB had kind of referred me to an orthopedic in Raleigh. I was in so much pain, I went to the orthopedic here where we live in Clinton, and he couldn't do any x-rays because I was pregnant, and he had to get permission from my OB to give me a cortisone shot. He gave me a cortisone shot, worst pain I've ever been in, like getting an actual shot, because I didn't realize they put it like in the area it hurts. He was like, where does it hurt? And he stuck that needle in that area, and I could have come off the freaking bed. I was like squeezing this nurse's hand, and she found me on Instagram, and I thought it was so funny because she was like, I hope you're okay. I was like, yes, I'm fine. I'm just a child and have a low pain tolerance. Whatever. He gave me a cortisone shot, and everybody was like, well, that should last like the rest of your pregnancy. A week and a half. A week and a half that cortisone shot lasted me no time. The pain came back. So while I was in the hospital, you know, getting induced, I thought, what a good idea to just get my elbow looked at while we're here, because worst case scenario in my mind, I thought I have torn something or like broken something and it's just laying dormant. So we got x-rays, and a couple doctors looked at it like the day I went in to get induced, and they were like, yeah, you might have like a little bit of an infection, or, you know, not thinking it would be anything serious. So after I had the baby, they did an x-ray, and that x-ray, I don't know what happened, if they just wanted a different angle or because it had already looked suspicious on the first one, they did a second one. And then they did an MRI. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I've really like torn something. Like, we're gonna probably have to have some surgery. And I had, you know, come to terms with that. Surgery. That's okay. I just had 7 layers of me cut open and a child that was 9 pounds and 12 ounces cut out. I can deal with surgery. Considering I had never had surgery until then, I could deal with surgery at this. So they take me down for an MRI. And I knew like kind of what an MRI was. Like, I knew I was going to have to lay in this thing. My husband had an MRI when we were dating in high school because he tore his labrum, I believe. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. He did not tell me the severities of an MRI. That I was going to be in this little tiny hole that was like this big, can't move, can't breathe, look up, and there's like a thing right here. Y'all, they had to do the MRI 3 times because the first time, he didn't like put music in my ears or anything. He just told me to lay still. Panic attack. Never had a panic attack before. Had a panic attack. Was like squalling. He had to get me out of the machine. He put me in the wheelchair for them to like take me back upstairs. And I was just sitting there. I was like, okay, if my baby can be down there in the NICU, mama can grow a pair and get an MRI. So I went back in, and we started this whole process again. And I'm laying back in the thing. Now, mind you, every time I'm restarting this, it's another like 30 to 45 minutes. Dummy. I should have just pushed through, but I couldn't. I was like, I'd look up and I felt like I was suffocating, and everything was loud, and I could just, I was like, thank God I'm not super, super fat, because I would not have made it. I would not have made it. So put me in there the second time, and like I said, my arm is hurting, and he had to put this like camera thing on it. So I was like wrapped up in this brace, and of course, the second time I'm in there, the brace is hitting that nerve. And I'm like, I cannot sit still. Like, I physically cannot sit here this long and have it hurting. So I was moving too much, and we had to start over again. Third time was the charm. I got in the MRI machine. It was horrible. He played country music, and every song I like was counting down the minutes, and then he'd come over the speakerphone, and I was like, can you please tell me when we're halfway done? And then like every 15 minutes or every 5 minutes, can you tell me how much longer we have left? Because I was dying in this thing. I sound like that now. So note to self, don't get an MRI unless you absolutely have to. It was so bad that they had talked about doing another one, and I said, absolutely not. I cried when he took me out of that machine, and the transport guy in the hospital came to get me, I was like shaking and crying until I got back to the postpartum floor to Dawson, and I was so mad at him. I was like, you didn't tell me it was gonna be this bad. It was awful. It was awful. I know the transport guy was like, what is wrong with this woman? Because I was freaking on a whole other level, traumatized from this MRI machine. Like, I just felt like I could not breathe in that thing. If you've ever been to White Lake and you know that water slide at the water park that does this number, you would never in a million years catch me on that. Never. Ever. And I've like never been super claustrophobic. But my fear is getting stuck in something like that. No. So we make it past the MRI, and I'm like dying to go home. Baby is like out of the NICU. I'm developing postpartum preeclampsia. I had to get on a magnesium drip. Shared all that in the last vlog. And a doctor comes in. I had my mom come up to the labor and delivery floor because we could have like more people on that floor than in the postpartum section. And me and Dawson had not gotten any sleep. I have a nurse come in the day we finally gotten some rest at like 6 o'clock that morning, and she was like, we're gonna have to do a biopsy on your arm because we think it's cancerous. Like, just straight up wakes me up and tells me that without my mom being awake and without Dawson being awake. Like, 6 o'clock in the morning, comes in and is talking about me having cancer without waking up anybody. If there was a way that I could sue that person, and I'm not like that kind of mean person, that was really freaking rude. Not a way you wake up a 21-year-old brand new mother and her family. There's a better way to do that. So just parentheses that in this video, and yeah, there's a better way to do that. So I get off the magnesium drip, my blood pressure is stable, whatever, and the next day we go do a biopsy, and they have to go in. You can still see it. I have like a little mark right there where they went in and they pulled tissue out and they did a biopsy on my arm. I had Dawson go down there with me. There was no way I was going back in the basement of that hospital for the 4th time by myself because that place smelled like, I've never been in a morgue, never worked in a funeral home, but I can only imagine. I just felt like there were deceased people down there. Bless their hearts. It smelled terrible. It smelled like the worst thing I've ever smelled in my life. It was just terrifying. So Dawson went down there with me and they did the biopsy, and then we had to wait like, a week for the results. And we were thinking infection. We didn't know. So I don't even remember the day because my days just all run together here lately. But we were sitting on the deck and I got a call from Chapel Hill, and they called me and said, you have diffuse large B-cell lymphoma of your elbow tissue. And yes, that's like so scary, crazy. My phone's trying to die. But it really could have been a lot worse. I could have had bone cancer, which is not treatable. There's not like a cure for that. There's really no way to treat bone cancer. I could have had a bone infection. So the doctor even said, you're getting like the best worst news, which we were so thankful for. It's still scary because I'm still having to do chemo. I'm not having to do radiation, but I am doing chemotherapy. I just had my first round on Friday. But we're just thankful that it wasn't worse than it was, because there's people that they deal with a lot worse. And I sat down and I told Dawson, I said, in the grand scheme of things, yes, this is cancer, but it's something that I have to deal with for this season. And, being a diabetic is something I have to deal with my entire life. You don't just get to go through, you don't have chemo and stuff to just take that away. That is an everyday, every moment of every day kind of thing that I deal with. So in the big picture, this isn't that bad. And that's just kind of what I've had to hold on to, because it's not. When I put the two side by side, and I think, okay, a lifetime of living with diabetes versus a season of living with lymphoma. We're going to get through this. Like, no doubt in my mind, nothing is stopping me. So, yeah, I got the diagnosis and met with the orthopedic, met with the oncologist, had a PET scan, you know, whatever, it's there. And I'll show you my first x-rays compared to x-rays I had about a week and a half ago. You can actually see the new bone, like where the bone is getting stronger again. So not only have I started chemotherapy and doing the more conventional route, but I'm also doing a more holistic approach with my eating. I'm following a complete plant-based diet, no meat, no dairy, everything's organic, non-GMO, very, very clean, and taking lots of just good supplements. I have to get 30 minutes of vitamin D every day, 30 minutes of exercise, writing in a gratitude journal, you know, writing like feelings, like emotions, and burning them, because all of that stuff feeds the bad in your body. And I met with a microscopist who has kind of walked us through all this, and she said any like feelings and emotions that you have laying dormant, your bad cells are gonna attack that. So it's a whole like 360 mental, physical, emotional, spiritual kind of thing that we're dealing with here, and it's just crazy. It's crazy, but God is so good. And my arm, I used to could not, like if you would see me working out, I could not straighten it past like here, and I can straighten it all the way now, all the way, and it feels great. It was so good. I never thought like my arm would be the same again, because just for 9 months, 10 months, just about, it hasn't been able to do what I wanted it to do. So that is crazy. But it is getting, you know, better every day. I'm getting better every day. And I thought it was pretty neat when I went to my first treatment on Friday. The nurse looked at me, she said, "Today you're coming in here with the most lymphoma you will ever have in your body." And I was like, that's pretty cool, you know. But we know that God's got this. I will share some verses that I am praying and claiming over my body every single day to share with you guys. If you want to be in prayer with me and claim those over yourself, over your friends, over anybody that you know, because in the end, God's got this. He knew 5 years ago we were going to go through this. He knew when I got pregnant we were going to go through this, and I shared this on my Facebook post the other day. We weren't trying to get pregnant. I mean, we weren't not trying, but we weren't trying, and God knew what we needed in His time, so He blessed us with a baby, because I had no idea that, you know, cancer causes infertility, and honestly, my pregnancy could have caused this. It could have caused the flare-up, but we're grateful that we have a healthy baby, and soon going to have an even healthier mama, and we are just trucking through this. So I wanted to share this. I know this is kind of like a deep vlog, not a whole lot of fun. I've got some fun stuff to share. I want to do a day in the life with little P, my top 10 things that I've used with her, and just, you know, this whole baby journey. But life's been crazy. I feel like I haven't had a moment to breathe, because I'm changing my eating, raising a child, you know, making sure I'm getting in all my things. Just a lot going on, but I will share that eventually. And right here I will attach the verses that I have really clung to. Like I said, if you want to share those or just be in prayer over us with those verses, we would greatly appreciate it, because we truly feel every single prayer, and we know that God is just using this trial to build a testimony in our lives, and we couldn't ask for more. He holds today, tomorrow, the next day in His hands, so He knows what's going to go on before we do. So there's no point to worry at all. But if you enjoyed this vlog, I promise my other ones won't be this deep. Make sure you like and subscribe, share to your Facebook page, or share with a friend, and I will see you next time.